Hi everyone, Tara Doyle-Enneking here with your C-Suite podcast with the Puyallup Sumner Chamber of Commerce. This is season 3, and boy are we kicking it off with a bang. We have today the CEO of Pierce Transit. So not a small organization. We've got over 900 employees with Pierce Transit servicing our greater region. Lots of innovative ways they're changing and kind of shaking up the transportation industry. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Mike Griffus, the CEO of Pierce Transit. Hey! I need your money before you board the bus here.
That's right.
What are bus fares going these days?
$2.
$2. I need $2, please,
$2
for this ride.
Kids ride free.
Kids ride free. All right. Well, hey, who doesn't like starting off a podcast with a little who?
Yeah.
All right. Well, welcome. Thanks for being here today, Mike.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, hey, your journey to Pierce Transit, I'm sure, started a bit ago.
Right.
And so today we're just, excited to learn a little bit about who you are, what kind of your path was leadership-wise, getting to the role you're at. Maybe we'll unpack a little bit of personal information too, and then of course talk about the ways that Pierce Transit continues to swing innovatively to service this community. So, are you ready for the ride?
I'm ready.
Fantastic. All right, Mike Griffus, where were you born?
I was born in Seattle, Washington.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah. Did you grow up there? And
I
go to
grew up
school
in
there?
Seattle, and one thing people don't know is I'm one of 14 children.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, I'm
Wow.
number 7, right in the middle.
Oh boy, so you had a bus for your family
It
rig.
was almost a bus.
Oh my
Although
goodness.
it was a station wagon with no seatbelts.
Oh, well,
Right?
there's plenty of us that grew up in that era.
Yeah.
Some people that I've heard that rumor before.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. So in Seattle, where'd you go to elementary school and high school?
So I went to elementary at St. Paul's.
Okay.
It was a Catholic school because
Nice.
obviously we had a large family.
Yes, I
There.
was wondering if that might be a correlation.
Yeah, that's always one of the questions, right?
Yep.
And then I was fortunate enough to go to St. Martin's High School
nice.
in Olympia.
Great. Okay.
Yeah.
So somebody was doing a commute back and forth for.
It was a boarding school.
Oh, so you live. Oh, well,
All
that
boys.
solves it. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
Oh, tell us about that experience. Anything memorable from going to an all-boys Catholic school?
It was a great experience,
Good.
and I still have friends
Wonderful.
from back then, and
Nice.
we get together. There's 6 of us. We all get together about once a quarter and reminisce.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. What were you thinking about, young Mike, as to what you wanted to be when you grew up?
I thought I wanted to be a school teacher.
Okay.
So I went into the Marine Corps,
Oh, fantastic.
and then when I got out, I went to the University of Washington, and
I'm a dog.
I was going to be in education, and fortunately, before you go into the education center or department there, they send you out into a school.
Ah, so
And
you got a little glimpse of.
I had 6 weeks in a school in downtown Seattle, and I came back and changed my major.
Did you have career diversion?
I did. I changed my major to business.
Well, there you go. I mean,
learned
God
a lot
bless,
about myself.
God bless our educators.
Yes.
I get you. Well, it needs to be the right seat and the right fit,
right.
right alignment to have joy in the career you choose. So, okay, so you studied business at UW. I'm a
Right.
former alma mater, so go Dogs
Oh,
on
great.
that
Yeah,
one.
Go Dogs.
So business, were you then specifically, once you sort of switched tracks, anything in particular you were aiming for? Or?
No, I was paying for college. I was driving truck and also working on the docks for a gentleman who took me under his wing, and
Okay.
that's how I got into transportation.
That
Um,
would be one of the first.
Yeah, my dad was a truck driver, so
Okay.
that's how it happened. And I was just starting. He had a small family business, and I was just going to do on-campus interviews to try and find a job somewhere at a bigger company.
Yeah.
And he sold. to a big company.
Okay.
And they
there you
asked
were.
me to stay.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it. Did you have any other jobs growing up, working in, I don't know, grade school, high school? I don't know what
Yeah.
the labor laws were back then. But.
So I picked berries at Nishimura Farms. I don't know
How
if
many
they're
people
still
on
in
this
the-
podcast pick berries from this area?
I know. That's right. Yeah. And
love
then
it.
I had a paper route, and then I worked for a thing called Neighborhood Youth Corps that put you into schools pulling weeds and parks, city parks, pulling weeds and picking up garbage.
Okay.
So I did that younger days.
Yep, learned you probably didn't want to do that all the time.
That's exactly.
But
Same with driving
you know,
truck.
labor though, man, you can't replace some good sweat equity. And
That's right.
I like it.
Yep.
So attracted to business, studied business. Was there any particular, through your studies, an aspect that you kind of glommed onto a little bit more in that, I guess, field?
No, I didn't really do a concentration of a major. I stayed. I wanted just an overall
general track, yep.
general business knowledge. I really liked business law. I thought that
Yep,
was
I liked
really
that class
important.
too.
Yeah,
I liked
and
that class a lot.
business, government, and society was always something I found interesting.
So this transportation company that kind of gave you your first big boy job,
Mm-hmm.
if you will, how long were you there, and where did that lead to?
Oh, so I was there 11 years.
Okay.
And for them, I moved to Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
I had a job there. And then from there, I moved to San Francisco
Ah,
and stayed with them for a couple of years there. And then somebody else asked me to come to work for them.
okay. So all in all, how many years?
11 at,
11.
at that
Okay.
company.
Great. And the kind of roles that you had during that company?
So I
your
was,
time with that company?
I started as like a safety manager
Yep.
and billing clerk, and then I went to dispatch.
Okay.
And then I worked as an assistant manager and a manager and area manager and then a regional vice president.
Well, exactly how it should work. If
That's-
you're in a
yeah.
large corporation, is you can start by picking up garbage, working safety, dispatch, admin stuff, all the way through management.
Right.
That's fantastic that opportunity was there for you.
Yeah.
I love it. Personal life, I guess, sort of, I'm going to back up just a little bit on you. UW, what kind of college student were you? Did you have fun? Were you into sports? What were the things that entertained you outside of studying business?
Well, let's see. I was paying for my own education.
Okay.
And I had the GI Bill.
Okay.
And after a couple of years in the Marine Corps,
Yeah.
I went to the dorms for 1 quarter, and it just seemed a little bit young
Yeah.
for me
yeah.
at that
yeah.
point. So I got an apartment and just,
Yeah.
kind
of adulted.
yeah, that was it.
I know. I think I was adulting most of my UW career as well, or track.
You think?
I'm pretty sure I was. Yeah, I was living in Kirkland Community. Yeah, didn't do the dorm thing, but anyway, are you growing up? What kind of activities, hobbies?
Oh, I played all sports.
You did?
Yeah, of course. I played football, basketball, baseball.
Did St. Martin's have a team, or did you? Okay,
St. Martin's
great.
had a team.
Nice.
Yeah, and so I played on those teams, and that was pretty much all we did was play sports. seemed
Yeah.
like.
Well,
You know?
fun. Did you? Do you still follow sports now, or do you have any favorite teams?
Yeah, the Huskies are my favorite team.
Oh yeah, it was quite a
Yeah.
ride this year.
Oh, it was great.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I always, I'm a really rabid dog fan,
Yeah,
so
nice. Well,
more so than pro sports. I like college sports.
Yeah, there's a few people that might agree with you on that one.
Yeah,
So somewhere along the lines, you met Mrs. Griffus.
correct.
Let's back up to just when and how that all happened.
Well, I met her between junior and senior year in college,
Oh, nice.
and she was going to Washington State University.
Oh boy, you crossed
As a cougar,
over.
yeah.
Okay.
And so I asked her to marry me, and we got married after
Just like that.
college.
Just
And-
like that.
Yeah.
She just was bedazzled by you and your athletic prowessness and your business sense. Fantastic.
I don't think that's how it went, but
Well, I wish
I'm okay
she was
with that.
here. I wish she was here. What? Okay, so you had 14 kids as well.
no.
Okay.
I have
Okay.
two-
You
two.
learned some. Okay.
Two's enough.
2 kids. Tell us about your kids.
So my son Daniel is a sales manager.
Okay.
And he lives in Bandon. No, not Bandon. Oh, he lives in Dakota Dunes,
Oh,
South Dakota.
Abandoned Dunes. I know why you were saying
Yeah, I know,
abandoned.
yeah.
Are you a golfer?
I am a golfer.
Okay, yeah, that's why I thought so.
Dakota Dunes is where he lives.
Mm-hmm.
And South Dakota, and he has 3 boys.
Oh, how did he end up in South Dakota?
That's where his wife is from.
Well, God bless her.
Yeah, they moved back there a few years ago. He used to
Okay.
live in Scottsdale.
Okay.
It was a lot nicer visiting in
Well,
Scottsdale
yeah.
this time of year
Yeah.
than South Dakota.
I hear you. But
Yeah.
3 grandsons, and so,
Yeah.
and then another child?
Yeah, I have
A
a
daughter?
daughter,
Okay.
Sarah,
Mhm.
and she's 32, and she lives in Paulsville.
Oh, wonderful. What's she doing?
Right now, she's in between jobs. She was
Okay.
working as a library assistant for North Kitsap School District, but then she decided she wanted to do something
What
else.
a wonderful community to be living in, though.
Yeah,
That's
she lives
another
up there.
fun one to visit, for
Right.
sure. All right, so going back to thinking of some of the managers you had at that first sort of big boy job, what would you say? I'd love to kind of hear from you what you felt were some good boss qualities and maybe some that kind of were a little challenging for you.
Yeah. Well, it's easier to talk about the challenging stuff sometimes.
Yes.
isn't
So
it?
yes.
Yeah.
Do tell.
Well, I think that I had a couple of bosses that were really micromanagers who were always all over you for
Yeah.
everything and wanted to make all the decisions and wouldn't allow you that autonomy. And those are the kind of bosses I don't like.
Yep.
And then there were the bosses that I did like, and I can remember one. He was one of my first bosses, and he could speak to everybody.
Right.
And
That is a talent,
The
for
workers on the floor to, board executives or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and he was just really genuine, and I had always admired that of
Yeah.
him. So
When you were moving into these managerial roles, were there opportunities that you were provided that helped, I guess, train you up for those roles, or kind of through osmosis were you kind of meant to figure it out, or how did that go for your management training?
I think that I had a lot of training. One of the things that I really appreciated was one of the first companies I worked for sent me to Harvard for executive seminars.
Yeah, nice.
And it was building the service profit chain.
Okay.
And it's talked about how important the employees are for the success of any business, and how you treat them is how they'll treat your customers. And I think that has always stuck with me.
100%. Now we're sort of looking at that model being called a DDO that did come out of Harvard, a deliberately developmental organization.
Right.
And our chamber's really leaning into a lot of those trainings. My MBA in executive leadership recently, prior to that, was a Harvard certification in that, and so I got a little glimpse of that. So if you're saying back then you were already getting exposed to that, that's definitely a man in front of the curve, because as you know, just with our industrial revolution sort of, how we do business, we're finally now at a point kind of in that information technology side of our revolution where your people are your greatest assets of your organization, and with such a shortfall in our gap in employment, you better be treating those employees pretty darn good.
That's
so
right.
Harvard, back in the day was really leaning into thinking about that person that's working for you and aligning them with mission and making sure you're helping their personal development, if you
That's
will.
right.
So that's
And
pretty cool.
I tell everybody that I think the greatest gift you can give an employee is development
Oh,
and
100%.
training.
I
To
agree.
really, if they're going to use it for you, or if they're going to take those skills somewhere else.
I heard a quote, train them so well, what is it? Train them so well they could leave you, but treat them so well that they don't want to leave you.
Right, exactly.
And I think that's, good point.
That is a good point.
What kinds of, so the prior company you were with for that 11 years, was that before Pierce Transit, or did we have some intermediary experiences in
there's
between?
quite a few different experiences.
Let's unpack those.
Okay, so I went from there and I went to work for a company where I had a long commute, and then I went to work. I only lasted there about 6 months.
I went to a company and I had a long commute.
Yeah, I had
The
a really
end.
long commute, and that was and the boss
And that's
was
what you
and the
remember.
boss was one of these micromanagers. And
Oh,
so,
yeah. Okay, didn't last long. Gotcha.
Yeah, so I went on to a different company which was buses.
Okay.
And that's how I first got into
Into the
buses.
bus, okay.
And they said to me, well, you don't know anything about buses. And I said, I know a lot about people, and I know that buses have wheels.
Yeah.
And so I think
What
I can
else do I
manage
need
this.
to know?
That's right.
Well, that's a good answer.
Yeah.
And you, and so not Pierce Transit though, a different
Yeah, this
bus
was
company.
was a company, a bus company, and I had 8,000 buses across
Wow.
a region from Texas to Alaska
Okay.
with about 100 operations.
Okay.
And so I was the senior vice president for
Oh,
that.
nice.
Yeah.
So senior vice president, how long at that company?
I was there for 9 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
We got to be getting close to Pierce Transit.
We're almost there.
We're almost there.
Yeah.
Where did we go
And then
following that stint?
Well,
from
then
the
I
vice
had
president?
a little stint with a company, a French-based company
Okay.
that was bought into the United States, and they were headquartered in Chicago.
Okay.
And so I told them I'm not moving to Chicago, and so they gave me an apartment in Chicago, and I commuted from the Bay Area to Chicago for 3 years.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
But not croissants.
No.
Back in transportation bus company.
And there I was.
I'm waiting for this big diversion.
Well, yeah,
and this
we had to
whole
go to
other
France
thing.
like every month and report.
Oh,
so it was,
so sad. That's
Yeah,
just
well.
terrible.
it's not as great as you think.
I know. Travel, oof, it can be tough when you
Yeah.
like home and a routine.
Yeah.
All right, so you did that. What would you say, kind of those last kind of jobs, what were some of the lessons along the way that you learned?
I think that really it has to do with what kind of management style you have to have for the different situations. You know, people say, what's your management style?
Yeah.
I mean, it really has to change depending on what the people need and
I agree.
what the organization needs. And I
Right.
think that you just try and tailor it a little bit to people.
Yeah, if you had some of your employees here today, how would they describe your managerial style, would you say?
I think that they would say I'm pretty engaged and that I'm approachable.
Yeah.
And I hear them telling me all the time that I'm so down to earth, and they don't
Expect that,
Yeah,
or-
they don't expect that.
Yeah,
You
well,
know?
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Are you still able to carry off some of the, kind of a concentration of developing your employees? Are there opportunities through Pierce Transit that your employees can have access to ways to further personal develop
Yeah.
or have
yeah.
personal development opportunities?
Yeah, a lot of our employees, especially supervisors, assistant managers, and managers, started off as drivers. And they worked their way up. And we have development opportunities for all of them. We have a educational program. We have on-site training. We do a lot of development for those employees.
Nice.
And so there's a real career path for them.
That's wonderful.
And,
Well,
yeah.
it played out well for you to,
Yeah,
to
and it's sort of throughout the industry, it's that way. That people start in operations somewhere as a driver or whatever, and they can really work their way up.
Right.
So,
Well, awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
So how did you end up at Pierce Transit?
so I was working for another French company. I spent 5 years there,
Oui.
and they had I had an apartment in Los Angeles for 5 years, and I
Okay.
commuted to Los Angeles. And then I had sold them a company, and they gave me a 3-year contract. At the end of the contract, they
Okay.
said, "You're no longer wanted." And I said, "Okay."
Okay.
And so we talked, my wife and I, about what we wanted to do, and we decided to move home,
Okay.
which we've always considered home. And we moved back here,
Good.
and I started a consulting company,
Okay.
and I promised my wife I wouldn't travel because for 25 years I was gone 4 or 5 days a week
Sure.
on the road. And I said I wouldn't travel here, and all of my consulting jobs were not here.
Yeah, I can
And
see
so the COO job opened up at Pierce, and I
Okay.
applied, and I was hired.
that. Yeah, nice.
So-
And then 2 years ago, made the CEO.
Right.
Right in the middle of COVID.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it
Fun
was right in
times.
the middle of COVID.
Fun
Yeah.
times. Ridership might not have been at its high point.
No.
What kinds of things has Pierce Transit done in the last few years to, I guess, be relevant in this day and age? And I know I'm going to be teeing us up for a conversation about the Puyallup Runner being one of those innovations. But yeah, just blanket-wise, what kinds of things is Pierce Transit working on?
Well, we do a lot of community engagement, and we listen to what the customers want. And we also, well, we haven't really had a tax increase for 18 years there, so we only get sales tax, and we have to decide how much is spent on capital projects and improvements, and how much on employees and operations. And so what we have done now is we put in some new services like the runner service that you were talking about. We've done same-day service for our paratransit people, and we just keep trying to be relevant. And the other thing, our buses, we spend a lot more time on disinfecting and making sure that the buses are really clean for our passengers.
Bus drivers, how I feel like a lot of them have bought cars from my husband and I just down the street. They're always the nicest folks. Where is that something you're hiring for, or what? Where are your gaps in employment? Are you filled up, or you have needs?
So we right now the current service we have requires 433 drivers.
Okay.
And we have 441.
Yeah.
Last year we hired over 120 drivers.
Okay.
And lost about 130. Oh. And it's a real senior workforce at Pierce Transit. And I think we had, before the pandemic, 150 operators were eligible for retirement. And a lot of them did.
Right.
And when they retired, just trying to backfill that has taken a lot of time.
Yeah.
So.
Nice.
Yeah.
If you weren't in this world running a transportation major bus conglomerate, fantastic operation, what would it be that you would be doing?
I would probably be traveling and doing and golfing.
Golfing and traveling.
Yeah.
Okay. What's our handicap?
Huh?
What's our handicap?
The handicap isn't that great right now.
You're working too much.
No, I had Achilles heel surgery, so
that could impact.
I golfed Saturday for the first time in 10 months.
Where'd you golf at?
I golfed at Indian Summer Golf Course in Olympia.
Yep.
9 holes.
Yep. Okay.
It wasn't great.
No. No. Well, fun though. I love golfing.
Yeah.
It's a great sport.
Yeah.
Definitely a great sport. All right. So, favorite movies, favorite books, anything just to kind of get a little crack into that head of yours of how you think, what you enjoy, what you like for entertainment?
Yeah, my kids will tell you that anytime Shawshank Redemption comes on, I stop and watch it, or A League of Their Own. I love those movies.
Clever, I love it.
I love that. Christmas movie, I like It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Good classics.
Yeah.
I like all of those. Absolutely. Well, I know that Pierce Transit has definitely been a great supporter of our, not just our chamber, but our overall community. Your presence and engagement is apparent. You have, various employees that are, attending some of the networking events or helping facilitate any of our business breakfast, lunch, and learns. We obviously want to be a good partner to you too, so that we're talking and communicating the services well. If there was, just kind of taking advantage of the time we have right now, if there's anything, misnomers, anything that you're, forecasting in the future, any bit of information you think that might be relevant to this audience, you've got the red carpet here, and you're more than welcome to share.
Oh, great. Well, I do have one thing.
Okay,
I'd like to
let's
tell people is that Pierce Transit only collects sales tax, and
so a government agency.
Right.
Okay, because I don't know that everyone would know that.
Pierce Transit is a public transportation benefit area, which is a separate part of government. We're not part of the county.
Okay.
We have a federated board, which is a 9-member federated board.
Okay.
And Mayor Castema actually is just joining our board.
Yes, he is.
This month.
Yep.
And we're happy to have him, because Puyallup has been underrepresented a little bit over the last few years.
Sure.
And then, we don't collect car tabs, and we aren't responsible for the property taxes that you pay. Right. So people sometimes get confused about, and so that's what we operate off of.
But to bring additional services to an area, would you say that that particular municipality, that city, would need to be approving a tax that would help with expansion to an area? Is it that minute that it is kind of city to city, or?
Yeah, we serve about 70% of Pierce County.
Okay.
And during the recession, some of the cities pulled out of our service area.
Okay.
And so it's easy to pull out, but it's really a
harder
process.
to get back in.
Yeah, it's process to get back
Yeah.
in that's run by the county council.
Yeah.
And so if people want back in, then they need to go to the county council, and then it has to go to a vote of the people on whether they want to be taxed for that.
Okay.
And so there's a whole process
Yeah.
about how to do it. And so some people want in, like Frederickson's not in, and Ording pulled out, and a couple of other places, DuPont. And I think they are now thinking, well, we need some public transit here, and to get back in is really an ask.
Yep. Okay. That's actually very helpful information, I'm sure, for those listening. Ryan Wheaton is on our board, and we're grateful to have him also with Pierce Transit. There's a city-to-city tour. We go to other cities to glean insight on a lot of facets. A lot of it is sort of under the economic development, economic vibrancy of a city. We went to Gilbert, Arizona 2 years ago, and this last year we went to Boise, Meridian, and Caldwell. This upcoming year we're going to Fort Collins. But each of those trips that we take, we're also typically putting together industry sector panels, because all cities deal with transportation issues. All cities, healthcare, education, public safety, all the different topics. So we really not only go to these cities as a field trip just to see how great they're looking, doing, and the innovative services they're providing, but really just some of the ways that these cities are also solving problems or addressing, how to cover that gap if you need more service and taxes aren't there, or just it's been fascinating. I'm thrilled that you do send Ryan, because just having him there and what he's able to add to the conversations when we're talking to, let's say, a city like Boise, but yet 20 stakeholders from Puyallup are hearing Ryan chime in as the voice of transportation. It's really helpful. You have now Mayor Castema, who went on that trip last year, and you have your state representatives and county officials. And so I'm just thrilled that you all recognize the value in being a stakeholder at the table and participating in things like that, because again, I can say it's a great field trip, but it's so much more than that. And hearing from the transportation voice at every opportunity is also super valuable. So yeah. I hope you send him. I hope you come. I hope whoever can come from Pierce Transit continues to come, because it's really a worthwhile trip.
Well, Ryan's a big part of our executive team, and he does an outstanding job in the community, and we're just thrilled to have him.
He's fantastic.
Working. He is. He cares a lot about the community, and
his community, really,
and it comes
in this
across.
area.
Yeah,
yep.
That's right. So I'm glad that he is able
it's
to
reciprocated.
go
We love it.
Good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anything to close here with? I want something more fun. Let's see. What would your wife say is your best quality and maybe your not so best quality?
I don't know about the best quality. I can tell you about.
There's a lot.
She doesn't think I'm very patient at times.
She doesn't.
No.
You seem so patient. So
yes,
chill.
yeah, right.
Oh, sweet. Well, so nice to get to sit here and chat with you a little bit more. It's always helpful, to our viewers to kind of understand who the names are behind the face and behind the service that you're providing. Now with your leadership hat on, knowing that your leadership probably has a finite end at some point, are there any lessons along the way that you're hoping people say about you, or that you're passing on to the next generation under you that are working at Pierce Transit, or that might be listening to you now?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I've always thought is that, integrity is really important in this position, and also that people can trust you.
Yeah.
And I also was telling somebody this last week. It should be your job as a leader to leave things better than how you found them.
Hey,
and that
Tim
is,
Cook from Apple said that as well.
Yeah.
It's a great mantra to live by, so it's great that you've leaned into it the way you have, and I'm sure people will be saying that about you because I've only heard good things. So,
well, thank you.
Yeah. Well, again, thanks for being such a wonderful partner to the Chamber and our community, and for being here today.
Yep.
We appreciate it. Happy New Year,
Happy
and
New Year.
I hope it's a great 2024 for you. Please let us know how we can help.
Well, thank you, and thanks to the Chamber for all you do.
You bet.
Appreciate you very much.
Awesome.
Thank you.
We swing a lot. All right, guys, thanks for joining us today on our C-Suite. We'll see you again next time.